Alright, so I'm gonna do, yes, this is lopsided. That side is falling down. It's a futon, right? And it's supposed to be folded. That side is flattening. I don't know why. So it doesn't want to bend. So I sleep down this end. But anyway, so yeah. So what is this? Okay. So I want to do my FYCs, which honestly, why would you listen to an old woman whose futon is crooked? And I'll tell you why. Because I saw a shit ton of movies last year. And I'm tired. I've done my own awards, which you can see my antes, you can see my nominees, you can see my winners. But I watched I think I reacted to I think I did the Oscar nominations. If I didn't, I reacted on Twitter, like I live tweeted or something. I know I watched it in some way. Don't ask me why I've decided to do this now, like this will somehow make my futon look straight. Yeah, my glasses are also dirty, which I was just taking off my fingernail polish, which I didn't do a good job now that I look at it. I know I kind of made my fingertips blue, but I got a ballot. I printed a ballot at the library. So I want to do my for your considerations. I saw quite a bit of movies. When there's a category, I mean there are categories I gotta skip, like best short, animated, live action. I don't know those. I never have. My TV's on still. Why do I have the sound on? So and where I'm missing things, I'll say it. But yeah, so I want to do this because it's Oscar voting time, and I've watched, like, out of Best Picture, there's only one I haven't seen. So and I want to make a case for some people. So yeah, let me get myself a little bit together, make sure this is working, and I'll come back and do that. I'm gonna start with Best Picture. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to, let's say, spoilers for all the movies I'm talking about. So if you hear me starting to talk about a film, I mention a title, and you haven't seen that movie, just, if you can see the Universal logo in my glasses, Wicked is in the Blu-ray or player there. So yeah, so Best Picture. Best Picture. The reason I'm doing this, and I was trying to say this, I didn't get it out. Having been paying attention to the Oscars for probably 30 years now, but online especially for the last 20 years, and knowing, and I used to do this. I mean, I used to be somebody who commented on awards daily, almost every day for many years. Not the last 5 or so, but so you learn how things are done, you learn why certain things get nominated, certain things don't, and at some point, I was not a fan of the Academy's choices. When I was kind of done with the Academy, the first time I said I'm done with these people is when for Lord of the Rings, the movies, there was an idea that they were going to wait until the last movie to award them, even though Fellowship of the Ring is my favorite film, and I think it's the best of the 3. There was an idea that they were going to wait till the 3rd movie to award them. So, on nominations day, I was sitting here watching the Today Show and had E, flipping back and forth to E, waiting for them to say Sean Astin for supporting actor for Samwise Gamgee. They did not. I think he may have even been sitting on one of the shows, because it was that much expected. And I was like, I'm done with them. They've made a lot of choices. I mean, this century, if you look at their Best Picture winners, I think I agreed with one. And that was out of their nominees. Probably, it was Birdman. I know I agreed with. I really liked Departed too. But, Otherwise, I was fed up most of the time. And you learn there's one of the magazines, I don't know if it's the Hollywood Reporter, where they interview a handful of people who actually vote, and you get kind of disgusted where you hear their reasoning. And the worst thing about it over time is, if you really pay attention, you hear from how many people who are Academy voters. Some of them are famous people we know, celebrities, who just can't be bothered to watch the movies. Oh, I voted for my friend. Or, they just voted because they heard. So that's why, for me, what I would expect or think the Academy should do is they should say what movie is going to stand the test of time. What movie, is going to be a classic. Because when you look at their choices for the last 20 years, those aren't the classics. Those aren't the beloved ones. Those aren't the ones that are remembered. A lot of time they vote their politics. They vote for something that sends a message they want to send or whatever, but that's not telling you what's the best film of the year. If you're a person who doesn't see color and you're a person who really is fair to all people, when you say best film or you say best actor or best cinematography, you're going to look at it color blind, nation blind, politics blind, and say, this is the best film. This is the best acting I've seen. This is the best camera work and lighting. That's what you're going to say. Or the best out of what was nominated. You're not going to go and say, well, I don't like that person, or they had that scandal one time, so they don't deserve awards, or whatever. You're just going to sit there and judge the film, the acting. You understand what I mean? So, that's what I still try to do. Of course, I root for people. You're going to hear me rooting for people because of a career. And that's the case. But, so the reason why I'm doing For Your Consideration is, look, I've been a film fan for a long time. I love movies. I love classic movies. When I was young, I used to watch old movies. I used to watch Turner Classic Movies, TBS, TNT all the time. Became something of a film buff in the 90s and early 2000s. Kind of fell off recently, but I watch as much as I can every year. The last 2 years, I've been a subscriber to the AMC Stubs A-list, so most weeks since we started going to the movies again, I've been going to the movies 3 times. Sometimes there's nothing good, and that's how I end up seeing Wicked 12 times. Okay, again, I saw quite a few movies many, many times in the last couple of years. But, yeah, so the point is, I actually do watch the films. I care about quality work. When I think I see quality, I say so. There's people I don't like, and if they deserve an award, I will say it. There's people I like, and I'm like, somebody else did better, even though I don't like that guy. So I try to be fair. I watch a lot of movies. That's my qualification. And as somebody who's watched a lot of movies over the years, I have some kind of, what's the word? It's not experience, obviously. I'm not in the film industry. I have some kind of, I have the references to say, okay, well, this is this, or this is that, or this is not that great compared, because sometimes there's film Twitter, and a lot of them are young, and there's people who have reaction channels, and they talk about how a certain brand new movie is the best vampire movie ever, and I'm like, how many vampire movies have you seen? When you're old as dirt like me, and I haven't seen all of them, you've seen quite a few, and the kid probably seen like 3. They're like some 20-year-olds, I've seen 3 vampire movies, this is the best one ever. You understand what I'm saying. So, now, that took me how long to say all that? Of course it took me like 10 minutes to get ready. For Your Consideration, Best Picture. You're already considering it. Wicked. I said Wicked a bunch of times already. Wicked is a phenomenon. Wicked is your Lord of the Rings. Wicked is your West Side Story. Wicked is your Wizard of Oz. I don't know why I'm coughing. Excuse me. I've had this cold. They're calling it the flu. It's been a cold for me. I was never like knocked out with bad, muscles that couldn't move or anything. That's what I consider a flu. But I've had this same thing. That I had it since Christmas. I was starting to feel iffy. Christmas Eve, went to Boston for the Wicked sing along. There were about 20 of us in there, but I was so glad I went. I can't sing for shit. Probably ruined it for everybody else, because to me the point was to sing loud, not sing good. And obviously, you go to a place like Boston, you're going to have people who know how to sing. Show up at something like that. But yeah, I wish that from that point on, all the showings in all the theaters were the sing along. But they did it that way just on Christmas Day for some reason in the big cities. I don't know why. Or maybe it wasn't just the big cities. Maybe it was everywhere on Christmas. But I couldn't go to my local theater on Christmas Day because there was no bus service. But I was able to take a bus to Boston. Anyway, that's how it is here. So, again, let me get started. Is the glare really too much? Because if I go like that, it's worse, right? Okay. Best Picture. I said Wicked. The reason being it's everything. Now, in this category, I've only not seen Amelia Perez. I have no desire to see Amelia Perez. It's a Netflix movie. I just said I go to the theater. Even though I live in a smaller town, I was able to see everything else. Nickel Boys, I'm going to admit, I left because I've talked about this many times on my reviews of the movies. I don't feel like I have an inner ear thing or whatever, but shaky cam bugs the hell out of me. If I'm watching a movie, I want to see it. I want to see what I'm looking at. So, especially for action, because that used to be like where they were trying to get the action and the camera's going like this. But there are times you're watching a movie and it's just plain old straightforward movie and there's shaky cam. I don't know what they were doing here with this. But, and then the story was weird. And I'm just like, no, I'm leaving. I'm sorry. I couldn't follow it. I didn't know what, I was just like, I can't pay attention to this movie. We like her, like I said, since she was Sister Girl and Undercover Brother. So far I'm not really liking these Oscar bait movies that she's in. I didn't like the one from, I forgot what it was called. I really didn't like that movie. I think I saw that one in Boston. This is like the second movie I saw that day when I took a trip to Boston that year just to see some Oscar movies. I didn't have to do that this year. Anora. Love Anora. Anora would be my second choice. The Blue List I'm not really a fan of. For reasons, I'm not going to diss it, but it was well made, except then the jumping. Like, there was stuff within the jumps I wanted to know. So it's like you spend this long time going along with the movie and every little thing that happened, then it's like, time jump, time jump. And it's like, I wanted to know what happened to the Guy Pearce character. I forgot his name by now. A complete unknown, very basic biopic. I don't know how you're supposed to say it. And somebody was talking about, if you don't know how to say it, you're not a film buff. I've heard it both ways. That's why I say it both ways. I don't know. It was very basic, like every other movie about a musician I've seen. But Timothée Chalamet did do a good job acting, but he's the only, as far as I was concerned, he's the only person who needs to be nominated from that. Conclave was pretty good. It got kind of silly, like the plot and everything. Rafe was great, obviously, because Rafe is always great, and he's the most overdue actor that I can think of, and I've been saying this for a while. So the minute he came up with another, I was like, anyway. But you understand what I'm saying? A Dune Part 2. Again, the Chalamet kid is there. He was fine. We love David Lynch. We love Kyle MacLachlan. We love the original Dune. I just watched it again the other day. So there's that. But Dune Part 2 was better than Dune the first one, the first Denis Villeneuve version. Um, and the kid did pretty good. I didn't understand why the girls liked him. The young girls liked him at first, but he's alright. He's alright. He was good, especially, as he was growing as what Muad'Dib, or what do they call him? The least son. I don't know. I don't know that word. Yeah, so I did not see Emilia Perez. I'm not interested. I'm still here. I haven't had Netflix for well over a year. I don't remember the last time I had Netflix. I usually would get it for a month and then try to catch up on anything I needed and then get rid of it again. But the last time I got Netflix, I think I watched one thing. And it wasn't even important. So, I'm still here. I saw last week. Yeah, it was good. I was a little bit, okay. I mean, it's a good movie. I didn't know it was going to be a bummer. I don't know anything about Brazilian or South America. I realized just from watching certain things lately that I had no idea about most things that happen in South America, how it affects us, or any of that stuff. I know nothing of it. And then the last year I've been sitting around having mental breakdowns a lot of the time because I'm kind of pissed at the education I didn't get. I was a good kid. I show up for school all the time and I'm just really mad. The boring crap they were teaching me when there was so much in the world. And some of it was at the time. I was a kid. I went to school. I was a good kid. I came home. I watched the news. I remember them talking about Sandistas, Oliver North. I remember them talking about all kinds of stuff in the 80s. I had no idea what the hell anybody was ever talking about. And in school, I don't even know what they were teaching us. Probably Louisiana Purchase or something. You know what I mean? But, yeah, so, everybody did a good job acting in that movie. Like I said, it was a bummer, though. It looked, I didn't say, there wasn't, I think, when they do period pieces, when they do something in the 80s, a lot of movies don't even bother not, there was one thing they did. I think the kids, when they were hugging each other, they were hugging each other in a way that kids do now. Like they were doing like the, like the cool jocks used to do. And now everybody does, all the guys do it, where they like go to shake hands and they pull each other in, like they hug and stuff like that. That was like one thing I saw that was like, okay, people in the 80s didn't do that. But, you watch Stranger Things and stuff like that, the kids are totally acting like kids from now, not kids from the 80s. They say all kinds of stuff we never said, slang and stuff. And, so that stuff, I don't know why I even bothered to say it, because it was one thing. But I'm trying to say it was very accurate for the time. I believed it was back then until one little thing, you know what I mean? But it didn't, break my concentration that bad. But the acting was all good. It was, yeah, what was her name? I forgot her name. Torres, right? But is she Spanish? Because Torres isn't a Portuguese name. Yeah, I don't know, but she sounded, Brazilian. But yeah, maybe she married somebody. I don't know. Anyway, The Substance. I can't stand The Substance. We Love Demi Moore. That movie doesn't make sense to me so many different ways. It's not good. I sat there and I was like, David Cronenberg's rolling around in his grave. He's not dead. You know what I mean? I sat there and I'm like, it's one thing if the Academy likes it. It's another thing if Film Twitter likes it. But if there's dyed-in-the-wool people who were film buffs and they like Cronenberg and they sit there and they watch it and they think it's good, I don't know what to say. Because the plot does not make sense. And I'm not trying to anti-FYC anything, but that movie's just so completely overrated to me. It's fine if, you want to come up with some kind of explanation for why it's not logical and say, oh, it's this and it's in her head and it's her own hatred of herself or whatever the hell it is. The point is that you make, you make a plot where, according to the plot, Whether it's in her head or not, it won't make sense in her head, and therefore I don't care what a goofy lady like that would think. But she's supposed to make a clone of herself. There's supposed to be one. While one is still supposed to switch every week or whatever, every 2 weeks, every week, whatever it is. While one is living the life, the other one is supposed to be basically hibernating as a vegetable in a bathroom, getting some kind of nutrients from packaged goo. Right then and there, it's like, okay, so the consciousness of the person who bought the procedure, who bought the clone, their consciousness must go into this younger clone with the great body so she can experience being young again. First of all, they could have got Andie MacDowell if they were going to have the kid, or they could have got one of Demi's daughters, or somebody who looks more like Demi, whatever, but they didn't. And the movie is totally about how gorgeous these women are. Totally the camera's all the way up Quali's butt. I don't understand. It wasn't, if it was trying to make a point about not being obsessed with beauty, why were they obsessed with Quali's butt? And otherwise, I know it was a female that made it. Otherwise, the consciousness could not go back and forth because she was doing things to herself that after the first time you would realize it's damaging yourself, you wouldn't do it. And then you say, okay, they're self-destructive people, but there were points where they woke up and they saw the apartment, what a mess. They woke up and they saw they had to see what the other person was up to while they were gone. That means they weren't in the consciousness was not going back and forth between these two bodies. When Demi was out, she was out. She didn't know what the hell was going on. And while Margaret Qualley was out, she was out and she didn't know what the hell was going on, which is fine if you're Margaret Qualley. It's not fine if you're Demi. Demi should have known what was going on the whole time. Because she was, and if she didn't, what was the point of paying for that? Because all you're paying for is to have a clone who's out there having fun while you're unconscious for a week. Off and on. That's why I'm saying the movie don't make sense. But whatever. And it's not good either. Of course, like I said, Wicked is a masterpiece. I don't know how he did it. Because, and he's not nominated for Best Director. Which is moronic. Because I watch special features. I grew up on Spielberg. I grew up on Lucas. I grew up on people. And like I said, I used to watch the old movies. I watched all those Cast of Thousand movies. Ben-Hur. I love The Fall of the Roman Empire, which is why I don't like Gladiator. Like I said, I watch all the old musicals. The ones with Gene Kelly. Like I said, West Side Story. Guys and Dolls. I mean, I know it's not that kind of musical. Jesus Christ Superstar, which is kind of cheap looking. But you know what I mean? I know that as much as musicals basically my favorite genre, you generally speaking have to make concessions because there's so much going on for you to get every single thing right. That's why Lord of the Rings will never be defeated, because for all those departments to all be firing on all cylinders it's more than just an amazing effort on Peter Jackson's part and everybody working on the film. It's kismet of some kind. It's what is it? A magical conjunction. Do you understand what I mean? So here you have another situation. And I've talked about this movie so much, but you're like, how the hell did one person do that? How the hell did one person keep track of all that? And they cast two perfect women, and there had to be divine guidance, because like he said, he's looking at them and they're like, they're the same size. And they're fantastic, and the entire cast is fantastic. And the costumes are great, and every single dancer, like I said, there's not one dancer who's half-assing it. There's no. The only thing is, again, CGI has deteriorated to such a point, and it's usually animal CGI that looks the worst in some ways, and also fight CGI. But so the CGI is a little bit iffy for me, but that's the case with everything, So I mean, It's already beloved. It's gonna be beloved right there with the Wizard of Oz. Do you understand what that really means? To meet that film, to meet the Wizard of Oz on its level. I mean, has any movie ever been more influential than the Wizard of Oz? And they met it. They met it. And Wizard of Oz, I do not believe, won Best Picture. Return of the King had a lot of nods to Wizard of Oz in it. No, because what was the first musical? Chicago, which I did not like at all, was the first musical to win Best Picture, which is ridiculous. But yeah, Wicked should win. I don't know if it will win. Nora is a great film. I will not lose my mind if Nora wins. That cast was fantastic. But Wicked, for your consideration, Wicked. I have been talking way too long. Oh my god. That was one category. I thought I was going to do this like this. Alright, Best Director. Do I have anybody in Best Director? Yeah, Sean Baker. That's my only option. That's my only option. Because the things I don't like about the Brew List come directly from the director. Directly from the director. Yeah. Complete Unknown, like I said, basic. Amelia Perez did not see the substance I kind of hate a lot. So there you go. Sean Baker's the only option there. And the Florida Project, what was the other one? He had like 3, but there was the one I didn't see. The Florida Project. I didn't see Tangerine. But there's one more, right? Anyway, yeah, he's a good director. Best Adapted Screenplay. I'm going across, like I said, I got this printed ballot from the Gold Knight. Did I say that? Adapted Screenplay. I didn't read the books. Out of these, I only like Conclave. So Conclave. Best Original Screenplay. I mean, I'm saying my choices, which I was supposed to be doing FYC, but Best Original Screenplay. I don't even know what September 5 is. I saw A Real Pain. It was decent. It was pretty good. So, yeah. Best Original Screenplay, Anora. Best Actor. We love Adrian Brody. Timothée Chalamet did a really good job. I did not see Sing Sing. Sebastian Stan, I did not see The Apprentice. I like Sebastian Stan. Ralph Fiennes. The Return, I liked him better in The Return. But, again, the most overdue actor. Before it was Gary Oldman. The minute Gary Oldman got his Oscar, I'm like, okay, on to Ralph Fiennes. Now, look. For me, acting is, you have to believe the person in whatever role they're in. Over a career, for me, my favorite kind of people are triple threats. They can do drama and comedy. But to say somebody's a good actor, I have to say, okay, I'm watching them. They're not being themselves. They're not being the guy I saw on The Tonight Show or Letterman or somebody I've seen do interviews. Their character is different from the person I see on the red carpet. I have to say that the character in this movie that they're in was not like the character in the last movie they were in, right? I need to see range. Can you play a good guy? Can you play a bad guy? Can you be believable? Like I said, can you do comedy? Can you do... Okay. So, you have Schindler's List. I believe he was nominated for Schindler's List. That's where we got to know him. Was it Strange Days or Stranger Days? Whatever it was called. I didn't really like that movie. I'm going to miss a bunch. The English Patient was astounding. He was so amazing. Now, look. Seeing him in Thing, I would have been like, he's not cute or anything. English Patient, again, same with Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman was like, but then Dracula. You know what I mean? This sweeping romance and you totally buy it. And that was an amazing film. Lord Voldemort. Like I was going to say, comedy. In Bruges. The Grand Budapest Hotel. What was that one? Where he was like Greek island or Corsica or somewhere. I don't remember. I just lost the plot for a minute. This year, of course, he's playing not the Pope, somebody trying to be Pope. He played Odysseus in The Return, which Christopher Nolan is now making. Why can't they get off that story? Anyway, they should have had an Odysseus movie with Sean Bean after Troy. But anyway, yeah, I just kind of lost the plot. The point is, what else was he? Oh, he's done so many movies. But yeah, he's got all kinds of range. He's completely overdue. Let me give myself a minute to think. The White Countess I thought of, which I liked. I meant to, there was that one about the ballet stuff I forgot to see. And then, The Reader, I had to take back. I had to take it back, and I had like a half an hour left, so I never finished The Reader. But I know I'm having a brain fart right here, but out of these acting jobs, I think he wins. Comparing the performances, Adrian Brody, like I said, I love Adrian Brody. We all love Adrian Brody. Not different than other Adrian Brody. Timothy Chalamet, very good Bob Dylan. He's a very good Bob Dylan. Like I said, I didn't see those other two guys, but Rafe was great in Conclave, playing like trying to be upstanding but also wanting power. The Return was better. It was more of a showcase, like as far as I'm concerned, like more had more to it, and I really liked it. I really thought it was good. Yeah, the case is made, right? If they pick somebody else, I'm gonna feel sad. Adrian has one anyway. I would feel sad if they picked Timothy, even though it's Oscar quality performance. I don't know if it's Oscar worthy, if that makes sense. But again, for the career, even if it wasn't the best acting, my best actors were different, and even Wicked was not my best picture on my nominations and my Anti Awards. I had other favorites, but yeah. So for this category, it should be Rafe, both for this year and for the career. Best Supporting Actor: Yuri Borisov, Nora; Kieran Culkin, A Real Pain; Edward Norton, A Complete Unknown; Guy Pearce, The Brutalist; Jeremy Strong, The Apprentice. I did not see The Apprentice. Jeremy Strong's a good actor. Yuri Borisov is who I'm rooting for. I mean, so much of his performance was just on his face. You know, if you can do that, you know what I mean? You're not throwing things. You're not doing hysterics. You're not. It's just expressions and his eyes, and you could tell just without him really saying too much right away that he was even just vibing support for this woman from pretty much jump, you know? And he really conveyed all that really well with just a nuanced performance. And people sometimes say that when people aren't transforming or whatever, but that was a really good performance, and that's the performance I would like to win. But Guy Pearce does an amazing job in The Brutalist. Another person I'm a huge fan of, going way back, all the way back to seeing Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Immediately loved the guy. way back then in the theater. Of course, you remember him in Memento, Kind of Monte Cristo. I loved his portrayal of the villain in Lawless. Yeah, he's been around a long time. I know everybody. I never was that big a fan of LA Confidential, even though I like old noir. I wasn't really a big fan of that movie, but great in that. I mean, he's been great for a long, long time. Drumstrings. What's the name of the movie? A Slipping Down Life. I love that movie. I haven't seen it in a long time. But, yeah, I would be really happy if Guy Pearce won. But, probably gun to my head, if I really had a ballot, I'd vote for him because of the career, because I've been a fan for so long. But, I really like Yura Borisov and Honora. Best Actress, Cynthia Erivo. I think she did an amazing job. This Carla lady, I did not see. Emilia Perez. Mikey Madison for Honora. Demi Moore for The Substance. Fernando Torres. I'm still here. Okay. The 4 I've seen, all great performances. All great performances. Any one of those 4 women deserve it. My choice is Mikey Madison. I thought she did the most. She really starred in that movie. It was her film. She carried the whole thing. I only really know her as the girl from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, who, you know, gets crispy. But Cynthia did great. Again, more nuanced. In this case, you have to take out the singing, right? So if you take out the singing, you know, and you're just looking at the acting, which I don't believe I just said that, because I'm not saying you stop paying attention when they're singing. I'm not saying that. I'm saying because you act while you're singing. I'm saying we're not judging her singing skills. Is the point. We're, you know, judging the acting within the singing and everything else. So yeah, she definitely did an amazing job. But more subtle, right? Demi did great, you know. Fernando Torres, again, these are really good performances. I'm rooting for Mikey Madison. I think she should win. Right? Best, in my opinion. Best supporting actress. Ariana Grande. This is an iconic performance. I hope the girl lives for a long, long time. But she is going to live forever. She already was because of her singing career. She's going to live forever. This is going to be forever. This is a forever performance. Like Judy Garland in the original. Alright? You don't remember that? I don't know the lady's name who played Glinda. How many, in The Wizard of Oz, how many times have I watched that? I have no idea what that woman's name is. But we all know Judy Garland as Dorothy. She had an amazing career. I love Easter Parade. Judy Garland, who's Judy Garland? Dorothy. Glinda. This is iconic. This is, like I said, this is Sylvester Stallone and Rocky Balboa. This is somebody being so, you know, it's how she's going to live forever. And she deserves it. And if anybody else would, this is going to be the one I lose my shit if this girl doesn't win. It's, like I've said so much about it. The comedy of it, the comic timing, the when she says, when they're waiting to, and they're going to go put Elphaba on the train, and she goes, the mustache man. And she pulls her, and she, like, sweeps herself. It's a movie star in a movie star moment, and it's all the sparkle and all the magic that an actor can have. She brought it all, 100%, 1,000%. She brought it all. This is one, in my opinion, as a huge film buff who really appreciates acting and likes to sit there and think about who acted best. This girl, this woman, excuse me, she put in an all-time performance. Top tier in history. Not just this year. In history. She's up there. I realized that by using Julie Garland, I might not be conveying what I mean by top tier performance. So I'm saying she's up there with Michael Corleone, Travis Bickle, Stanley Kowalski. Okay? She's up there with, who's an actress? It's so hard. Just, it's that, it's beyond perfect. It's miraculous. It's, fantastical. What, it's not scandalocious. I don't even know what I was gonna say for a minute. Hang on. Okay, I think I composed myself. I keep coughing. I'm really, but yeah, I won't know what to think about humankind if she doesn't win this award. I remember sitting in the theater. Well, you know what? I'm not going to pick on that woman. Never mind. Again, I did not see Amelia Perez. Isabella Rossellini, unfortunately, did do in another year, because she did a really good job. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, Isabella did a really good job in this. You know, at the end of the movie when I was sitting there watching, I was like, she did a really good job. She should get nominated, which, yes, she should be nominated, which she is. But, it's just, she's in Ariana's category. It's too bad for that. But yeah, Ariana all the way. Best animated feature, I don't even know. I saw 3 of these. I saw Inside Out 2. I saw Memoir of a Snail. I saw The Wild Robot. No question. Memoir of a Snail. I had that in my top 10 of the year, I believe. Just as a film, not top. I don't see color. I don't see animated films as different. Like, if I watch documentaries, which I don't get a chance to, you know what I mean, I would have them all the same. Best cinematography, I have not seen Maria. Is this oh, Maria, that's the Angelina movie. Yeah. And a lot of these characters, I'm not bothering to mention the stuff that wasn't there unless it's really blatant. And I really remember thinking that Best Something was a movie that was not nominated here. So, Best Cinematography for this, I'm going with Dune Part 2. I don't like Nosferatu. I don't think it's anything special. He has his style. And it's basically a cinematography type style. So if you like his style, you're going to like it. Best costume design. I found this interesting because, first of all, A Complete Unknown is just like clothes. It's just like from Kmart or whatever. Conclave is Pope clothes. Gladiators, gladiator clothes. Nosferatu, it's just, I didn't even see the clothes. Wicked, of course, we're picking Wicked, just like for everything else. However, even though I'm not a fan of The Brutalist, I did sit there, and it's not nominated, but I'm making the point that I'm surprised it's not nominated against those Kmart clothes and normal Pope outfits. Some of that shit looked great, and to the point where I was like, how the heck, which is maybe why they didn't pick it, how the heck is a poor guy just coming to America gonna have, you know, such rich fabrics? And because it really looked, you know. Best documentary feature, I have not seen these. Best documentary short, I have not seen them. Best film editing, I don't know. I picked Nora. The best international feature film, like I said, I've only seen I'm Still Here, so I can't really, but it's a really good movie. Best makeup and hairstyling, I picked Wicked. Yeah, same reason. Best original score, Wicked. I honestly don't even remember the other. Again, I didn't see Amelia Perez. I saw the other three movies. I don't remember the music. Best original song. Guess what? I don't know any of those songs. Best film editing. I said already, right? How did I jump over there? So best film editing. I picking Nora. Did I say that? I feel like I jumped a row. Best international feature film. Wait, I just jumped twice. What's wrong with me? Oh, that's what I did wrong. Okay, so best original song. Wow. Best production design. Wicked. Dune Part 2 is great. And all the production design. I mean, I was like, I want to go live at the Vatican. But then I saw Wicked and I was like, I want to live in Emerald City. All that marble. I mean, come on now. Both movies. Which the brutalist marble plays a key role in it. And that was a nice chunk of marble. But it's a bad scene, right? Best short animated, don't know. Best short live action, don't know. Best sound, I'm gonna say Wicked. But there was a lot of... I'm starting to really notice movies that have good sound and bad sound. It's interesting because I remember thinking... I did a complete unknown sound. There was a movie that should have sounded good and didn't. And I forget what it is. But my favorite, when I sat and watched Bob Marley One Love, and I went like 7 times. That's my favorite movie of the year. I was like, this is the most amazing sound, because I literally felt like I was listening to a live concert. Like how it sounded, like open air instruments in a movie theater. Like the instruments were in the room with me. You know what it's like when you hear live music. That's what it sounded like to me in the theater. So I don't know how they did that. But yeah, so that wasn't the kind of movie that was getting nominated, unfortunately, because I gave it a lot of my anti-awards. But so for best sound, I picked Wicked. Best visual effects, again, you know, Dulce Bear and, you know, Peter Dinklage. That kind of animal animation is still off for me, so I'm going with Dune Part 2. Oh man, I Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, I kind of was really mad that I was sitting there watching it. You know what movie was also in my top 10? Which was the most... I saw it in 3D and it was spectacular. Godzilla X Kong. I watched it again at home. It looks so much better in the theater. But 3D, it was just outstanding visually. So anyway, so for real, my real FYCs are Wicked for Best Picture, Ariana Grande Best Supporting Actress, Ralph Fiennes Best Actor. Those are the ones that are really important to me. Yeah, it was a really good year for movies. As time's going on and I'm watching the Oscars, it seems like even if they have all these extra categories, and even if they have access to so many movies, the movies they're nominated are coming down. It's being less movies. Like, it's like 5 movies. I don't even know what this actual tabulations are, but it's been seeming like this lately, the last so many years, that, and it wasn't like that before, where like the same few movies got all the nominations. Like multiple movies got double-digit nominations or something, or more than 7 nominations. It's like, how is that possible? So like I said, you're seeing Wicked, of course it deserves it in every category. You're seeing Dune in every category. Again, maybe that deserves it too. But then no, Denis Villeneuve didn't even get nominated. What the hell were they doing in director? Because I know The Substance sucks. A Complete Unknown is basic. And people hate Amelia Perez. What the fuck were they doing? Wicked doesn't get in for cinematography. That's just funny. Whatever. They didn't like his color choices or whatever. Like I said, it's a choice. But it was a good year for film. Not great. I had a lot of fun. I enjoyed a lot of movies. There were some real masterpieces. I thought this year there was some really outstanding acting from a lot of people. Maybe not, you know, this isn't representative of that. Like I said, that's why I have my Auntie Awards. But something like a real pain, like I think Kieran Culkin was acting like Kieran Culkin. Jesse Eisenberg, I'm not a fan of Jesse Eisenberg, but he had a really outstanding scene in that film. He was really, if you're gonna, I mean, for the screen time and everything like that, he was really the supporting actor in that film, even though it may have seemed the opposite. You know, like I said, they determine how they choose who's supporting and who's lead. I have many categories. I have an ensemble category. I have a featured actor category, but I don't do gender. So just because, you know why? Honestly, because in a normal, for most of my Oscar watching history, when I actually go to the movies and I watch them all, I don't come up with enough actresses. So say I did 5 lead actors all the time and 5. Say I really narrowed it down and I was nominating 10 actors, 5 females and 5 males, I would feel like I was having to choose subpar performances in the female category and leave off of better roles, better act performances from the men. That's the truth, which you could say I'm horrible. But over the years, because when I would get ready for nominations morning, I'd have like 12 guys I wanted nominated, and I'd be like, okay, so I'm rooting for one girl, you know, because either the movies weren't that interesting or they were just playing the wife, you know, or something like, you know, that. Hang on. This was literally supposed to be, like, I thought, again, I was going to come in like 15 minutes, not 50, and this is more than 50, but, so yeah. Free up storage space. Okay, let me stop for a second. Hold on. So, I hope people will see the movies they didn't see some of the stuff that didn't make it here. I've gone to a handful of 2025 films. I get so mad at some of the people who are I'm getting to be, it's not jealous. I'm indignant now because I know how many people love film. I know how many directors there are out there. I know what our great masters had to put up with to get financing. I know that David Lynch, they pretend it's not the case now, but Netflix passed on something he wanted to do. He's gone now. And you see how Kevin Costner and more famously Francis Ford Coppola had to put their own money into making movies that they were bringing their vision to the screen. And I'm seeing shit in the theater. I'm showing up at AMC and I'm seeing stuff, and I don't even want to look. I don't care if it only costs $1 million. That's $1 million too much. I am seeing stuff that, you know, for whatever reason, some person said, oh, that person worked on that really successful movie and that person fits all the categories. Let's throw some money at them. Let's throw some money at those people, and it'll be great, and they'll make a movie and all their kind will come to it. And then you sit there in the theater and you're like, what am I looking at? This is the most garbage. And I'm like, I want to yell fraud. I want to yell, where'd the money go? I don't even know how much money it was. But sometimes I've seen terrible, terrible movies that somebody financed, some big studio, for whatever reason, said, yeah, let's give this person who's never made a movie before, never directed a movie before, put it that way, let's give them a bunch of money to direct a film so that it can turn out to be absolute trash because the person has no business directing a film. But how they're friends with the right people or whatever. And I'm just like, I'm getting. So you see these masterpieces, you see what John M. Chu can do, and he gets no accolade for it. And then you watch some of the shit that somebody was just handed a stack of cash, and you know your whole life you've been hearing from Woody Allen, David Lynch, whoever, how they have to basically deal with studios and beg for money and final cut and all these things that real directors couldn't get. Somebody is handing to these randos, and it's all fine for them. It's all working for them. Like, you have to think it's some kind of like Illuminati shit, or you know, some crazy group of people who they're just in cahoots together. But it has nothing to do with filmmaking. Sometimes it has nothing to do with art. It has nothing to do with even trying to make an entertaining thing or something that doesn't completely suck. I'm trying to open the nail polish and I can't do it. That's why I was putting grease on it. So yeah, so just to, and I think that it was kind of during or after COVID where they figured everything was going to be going to Netflix or some kind of streaming service. Hey, I opened it. Yay. So they just figured out why not, you know? And they just threw money everywhere. There's a lot of real garbage out there. So when people do the work, we should celebrate them a lot. And there's a lot of people who did the work this year. But more people than this. Like I said, just to, you know, you like the movie, so you write it into every category. I don't... Yeah, I just thought to look at it. I don't know how they... I was like, let me look at Best Director. Let me look at their last names. I don't know how they list them. I've never seen a nominating ballot. I don't know how they... I was like, are they all in the top part of the alphabet? Because I was like, what if all their last names are before M? Actually, John M. Chu would be before M. He's BC. But, unless Wicked came last on the list. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because sometimes people, oh, I checked off 5 and I didn't make it to M. Oh, well. And then somebody who deserves the nomination is down the bottom. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not a Denis Villeneuve fan. That much anyway. I mean, he's okay. But he definitely deserved to be nominated as well. Like I said, I didn't see 2 of those movies. But over the 3 that are there, I like Honora very much. And I do think Sean Bacon deserves to be nominated. But definitely John M. Chu and Denis Villeneuve, you know, really had a lot more to do and did it well. But yeah, Sean Baker should win out of that group, as far as I can tell. Crazy though. But yeah, so the way of the world is not to my liking. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, before COVID, I felt like I was getting increasingly out of step the way old people do. The way I don't even the good old times, the good old days weren't always good. I was waiting for the world to get better when I was young. So the fact that things are so the way they are, and I don't even know what to call it anymore, but that we still have movies that we can still use them, like Calgon, that we can still, like I said, I'm gonna watch, when I stop doing this, I'm gonna play Wicked. I'm gonna watch it for the 15th time, I think. I probably watched little pieces and fallen asleep. I probably watched it more than that if you count the broken pieces put together. But the first time I watched it, just knowing, sitting there at the last 5 minutes, feeling that there was going to be applause in a place, like I said, people don't clap here, people don't say things to the screen here. It's the people just sit quiet and watch the movie and go home. Once in a blue moon you get and clap, one clap, you know. I felt the applause coming, and so I put my camera on, which I wasn't probably supposed to do, but I had to capture it because I wanted to say, look at this. And they really, people clapped and woohooed, like really clapped, like they were at the end of a show. And I've watched reaction videos of people who are now seeing it on home video. This is why I'm an old person. And they love it, and they were surprised that they love it. Guys who aren't that type of person, you know what I mean? I think it's universal. It's universal. It is a universal picture, and I think it's a universal picture. I think it will be universally liked. It would be very hard. I know people who wanted to hate it because of the woke ways that some of them were acting leading up to the film. They had to admit it was good. So I'd like it if the world could get back to the world we had before, where, you know, there wasn't so much content and so much, because with the quantity comes a lack in quality, and that's what we're getting a lot now. So, but this year, like I said, you had, instead of having maybe more broad quality spread out, it's like really concentrated in a handful of movies this year. But so there's not like, and you know, but there's like more than one masterpiece this year as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. But the world, it's really a weird world, and I don't know where I'm gonna end up. I don't know where any of us are gonna end up. I am really thankful for the movies. It gets me through. And it's so hard sometimes to see the world we're in. And I'm not saying... Real quick, let me do the politics thing or the news thing. I wanted to vote for RFK Jr. I voted for Trump the last 2 times. I wanted to vote for RFK Jr. this time. I once he dropped out, or they both picked weird vice president candidates who I was like, but RFK's was so bad because I'd never heard of her before in my life. I can't vote to have somebody who I've never heard of a heartbeat away or a gunshot away from being president. But and now what we've got going on, Elon Musk seems like a decent enough fellow, but just from watching him have Twitter, which I've been on Twitter for a long time, it's clear that he does things quickly, makes jump decisions, and you can't do that in government, which is why I would never vote for him to govern. So even though I voted for Trump this time, and I like Donald Trump very much, I am freaked out by what's going on. I hope it works out. I think there could be a lot of damage. I referenced the film Bananas because I always think of that when people, anybody, anywhere tries to overthrow a government or totally, you know, change things. You can't destroy a thing if you don't know what to replace it with. So you end up telling people they have to wear their underwear on the outside. You know? But it's scary because I don't think I would not put that man in that position. And he suddenly is there somehow making decisions. And it's fine to do the research. Ow, ow, ow. But to take action, that shouldn't be happening. And I don't know why it is. And it's freaking me out. If he's just saying he's taking action and he's not actually able to, that's one thing. Because a lot of people are like, oh, they can't because it'd be illegal. But it looks like they're doing it. There's only one person who should be the decider, that's the president. But the president is still supposed to have to get approval from Congress, because those are supposedly the checks and balances, because you don't want the person who you voted for to be president for them to become a totalitarian dictator. You don't want that to happen. So things are supposed to take time. You're not supposed to just cut things with a machete. And, you know, so I'm trying to, in my own life, I'm always waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm in a precarious position right now. I don't know what will happen to me. I've never been this uncertain about the world in my life and anything. I feel an imminent sense of doom. I felt that before, but it's way more imminenter. Just in my own life, but it also feels more imminenter out there. And because it seems like a little kid who had too much sugar somehow is got their finger on the bomb. You know what I mean? It's like, no, rein it in. Somebody with wisdom has to put the brakes on. And I don't know why President Trump is allowing the situation, but I trusted President Trump to be President Trump. Whether I agree with him or not, I know what he thinks, and I don't agree with everything. You know, I still think it's the Gulf of Mexico. I don't want Canadians. I don't want Greenland. I don't want the Gaza Strip. I believe in freedom and sovereignty. So, for everybody to be free. So, I was teared up, though, today. The minute I saw that President Trump said that he invited President Putin here. You know. Like I've said it before, if the whole world could be like the Olympics all the time, where we all get together and everybody's their own nation and you do your own thing, but we get together every once in a while to play and appreciate each other and push each other further forward and to do better and be better. That's how a world should be. So when there's people who are made enemies and they can't compete in the Olympics because politics bullshit, that just breaks everything apart for me, and I want to leave the planet. So for him to invite President Putin to come here, it's just out of this world, you know, because the way things have been going for the last 20 years, so it's like 1 minute you're scared to death, the next minute you're like, oh my god, this great thing is happening, and I want to believe it's going to work out. But sometimes, yeah, there's a lot of corruption, and a lot of people get paid by taxpayer money who either don't do a good job or don't do anything or whatever. And I'm sure they spend a lot of money on like weird crap that shouldn't be. But just because it doesn't make sense to one guy who doesn't have any chill doesn't mean it should immediately go away. And the fact that it seems like he can do that, like, oh, this doesn't make sense to me. He said he deleted the people who did the free file program for the IRS. I used a free program, not free file, not the direct one from the IRS, but he looked at it and he said, why should the IRS be doing Americans' taxes for them? Because people want them. Maybe those Americans wanted them to. I'm fairly certain President Trump said he asks to be audited every year. So that's basically President Trump wants the IRS doing his taxes for him. But Elon Musk said looks at it, says, why should there be these people getting paid to do Americans' taxes for them? Americans don't need that. Boom, gone. Do you see what I mean? It's like, okay, it doesn't make sense to you. Just like the substance doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't actually make sense. But I didn't say burn all the copies, you know, fire everybody, don't let them work in Hollywood again. You know, it just things, you know. Oh, I don't understand why we're sending money to this country for this thing. Okay, say, look what I found. Put it on the table. Let the president look into it. And if he decides that, hey, that is stupid, then cancel the program. Wean the people who work there off. Give them a severance package. Say, you know, not boom, it's gone because Elon Musk doesn't get it. But that's, I don't know if that's what's really happening. If that's what's really happening, we're in bad, bad trouble. Because none of, the fact is not, I'm not a liberal. I do not want any woke people. You know, we really, I almost said we dodged a bullet. We really needed Joe Biden to not be president again. Or pretend president or whatever he was. We needed this to happen, but if President Trump just hands the reins to some guy who wasn't really a part of his campaign, he kind of jumped on towards the end. So, you know what I mean? And he was there all the time all of a sudden. And then he puts the kid on his shoulders and it's like, what? Like, it seems like every time he does something and people start to not like him, he brings the kid. You know? And it's like, rash decisions by somebody who was not elected. That's where we're at right now. And I'd like to just talk about movies, and I did, and that's why nobody needs to be listening to the rest of us. That's what I'm talking about at the end. But it's a personally scary time, and it's a scary time in the world, and it shouldn't be. And I don't even know what happened with RFK Jr. They were supposed to vote on him. They voted Tulsi in, which I didn't think they were going to vote her in. But it looks like they've been trying to make him the problem. And it's like, he's the only one who really, like him or not, or agree with him or not, come on, you know he's got the brain. And I mean, he's been fighting for people all this time. Whether it's the environment or the whole nutrition thing, or the vaccine thing, or, you know, the autism thing. Which, how many vaccines did Elon get? How did they vaccine you wherever he came from? Because he's not even from here. Yeah, so anyway, those were my for your considerations. Consider watching good movies. Consider saying when movies suck. Don't say what your friends are saying, or just make funny comments on Letterboxd, because my Letterboxd is Antmovies. I've still got all my other stuff, all my other links and stuff, but Wicked in most categories. Rafe, Ariana. What a world, what a world.